So I'm back at it with the Avatar, The Last Airbender Beginner's Box. This one is the spells, non-creature spellcasting JumpStart deck, which is a blue themed one. First time flyer, it's a 1/2 creature, human pilot ally for 1 and an island. Has flying. This creature gets +1/+1 as long as there's a lesson card in your graveyard. Master Pacu. It's a 1/3 legendary human advisor ally for 1 in the island. It has Prowess. The reminder text is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever Master Pacu becomes tapped, target player mills X cards, where X is the number of lesson cards in your graveyard. The reminder text is they put the top X cards of their library into their graveyard. Rowdy Snowballers. Apparently I'm trying to throw the card at the computer. It's a 2/2 creature, a human peasant ally for 2 in an island. Whenever this creature enters, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a counter on it. Stun counter. The reminder text is if a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Iguana Parrot. It's a 2/2 creature, a lizard bird pirate, which kind of seems odd that they add pirate into it beyond just the 2 creature types they're trying to combine. Costs 2 in an island, has flying and vigilance, and prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1. So we seem to have a lot of creatures, considering the theme is supposed to be spells. I mean, yes, creatures are spells, but I initially thought we were going to have a lot of non-creature spells. Yes, a couple of the creatures have prowess, so they care about non-creature spells, but you have to have non-creature spells to trigger the prowess on those creatures. Turtle seals. It's a 2/4 creature, a turtle seal for 3 in the island. Has vigilance. The reminder text says attacking doesn't cause this creature to tap. Geyser Leopard. It's a 4/3 creature, a human warrior ally for 4 in an island. Has flying, Waterbend 4. Draw a card, then discard a card. While paying a Waterbend cost, you can tap your artifacts and creatures to help. Each one pays for 1. I mean, 4 seems like a lot to draw a card if you're going to discard a card. Yes, you can use creatures and artifacts to pay towards that mana cost, but you're still discarding a card. Serpent of the Past, which interestingly enough was in the other blue JumpStart deck we talked about earlier. It's a 6/5 creature, a serpent for 5 and 2 islands. If there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard, you may cast a spell as though it had flash. Oh, okay, so I guess it wasn't Serpent of the Past in the other one. It must have been there must have been a very closely named Serpent and the other blue one. This spell costs one less to cast for each non-creature spell card in your graveyard. It would help if there was something other than creatures in here, right? Barrels of Blasting Jelly. It's an artifact for one. You can pay one to add one mana of any color, activate only once each turn. I mean, in a multicolor deck, this would potentially be helpful even if you are casting or you are paying money to like filter out your colors. You might be paying one white to get one blue, or you might be playing one green to get one black. You're still paying to get the color mana you need, but if you don't have something, in that particular color, and you have this, it could be helpful. Or you can pay 5, tap, sacrifice this artifact. It deals 5 damage to target creature. Abandon attachments. It's an instant lesson for one, and then one of the split mana costs that's either an island or a mountain. You may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. So, yes, it has a drawback of discarding a card, but you're getting 2 cards for discarding the 1 card. So, a little bit more of an ROI compared to the other card that had you discarding 1 card to get the card. So you're not really, the other one you aren't really netting any extra cards. This one you are getting extra, and ideally, if you're discarding stuff, you should have something that you maybe care about less to potentially get something better, I guess. It'll quench you. It's an instant lesson for one in an island. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. Lost in the Spirit World. It's a sorcery for 2 in an island. Return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. Create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token with this token can't block or be blocked by non-spirit creatures. Water Whip. It's a sorcery lesson for 2 islands. As an additional cost to cast this spell, Waterbend 5. While paying a Waterbend cost, you can tap your artifacts and creatures to help. Each one pays for 1. Return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hands, draw 2 cards. So, you're potentially returning 2 annoying creatures in your on your opponent's battlefield to their hand, which would then obviously make them have to repay the mana cost down the line. You get at least a turn or 2 without 2 of those creatures, and you're drawing 2 cards. Yes, you're paying 5 and 2 islands for it because of the waterbending cost, but the 5 you can use artifacts or creatures towards that. Thriving Isle. This land enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color other than blue. Tap to add a island or 1 mana of the chosen color. Now we're to the basic lands. And we have 7. And then we have kind of a on your turn reminders thing, which it tells us to stop here, play your first game, and then come back. I think it's doing, it has this divider here because um, it has um, the two non-jumpstart decks here. Um, so when I flip it, the do not shuffle Aang deck remove this card before playing. So we will um, and then the reverse side Aang tutorial um, do not shuffle, and it's a plains deck. Aardvark Sloth. It's a 3/3 creature, a sloth beast for 3 in the plains. Has lifelink. Um, my friend may or may not like this just because it's a sloth. She has a water bottle similar to mine, but instead of a giraffe on it, it has a sloth. Just because one of her nicknames or alter egos is Snorlax, which um, is a Pokemon that likes to eat and sleep. She couldn't necessarily find a water bottle like this one right off with a Snorlax, but a Sloth is slow like a Snorlax. So in her mind, that was um, close enough. So she might like this card solely because it reminds her of one of her water balls. And it has lifelink. She always complains that when we play, I deal a lot of damage to her, but then I'm constantly gaining life because I have stuff with lifelink in my decks, or I have the lands that gain a life when they end, or whatever. It seems like I always have way more life than her, so she'll also like the card because of lifelink. Razor Rings. It's an instant for 1 in the plains. Razor Rings deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. You gain life equal to the excess damage dealt this way. So it's pretty cool because you're not only dealing damage, given it has to be to attacking or blocking creature, so like you have to wait until combat. Minor inconvenience, I guess. But in addition to dealing damage, you're potentially gaining life. If you hit a 1/1 token for 4 damage, you're gaining the excess damage in the form of life, which happens to be 3 unless your opponent buffs their 1/1 token. Path to Redemption. It almost feels like this one was in one of the white jumpstart decks. It's a enchantment aura for 1 in the plains, enchant creature. Enchant creature can attack or block. Pay 5, sacrifice this aura, exile enchant creature. Create a 1/1 white ally creature token, activate only during your turn. So even just first time you play it prevents your opponent's creature from being able to be in combat because no, you can't attack or block. So kind of like I think it's pacifism, but then it has an additional ability where you can pay 5 and sacrifice the enchantment to exile the creature it's on, and you get a 1/1 token on top of exiling their creature. Appa, Aang's companion. kind of an interesting flying creature. It's a 2/4 legendary creature, a bison ally for 3 and a plains. I've never seen a white bison, but I mean, I guess it could be a albino bison where they're. I thought they were normally a darker color or brown, unless maybe in snowy areas bisons are maybe white. Has flying. This creature can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. Whenever Appa attacks another target, attacking creature without flying gains flying until an end of turn. I don't remember if I said the mana cost or not. It's 3 in a plains. You have a random basic land in the middle of the deck. Sledding Otter Penguin. It's a 2/3 creature, an otter bird for 2 in a plains. You can pay 3, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, and where there's no tap symbol, you can pay the 3 however many times you want, as long as you have mana to keep doing that. So once this guy's on the board, if you had, say, 30 mana, you could do that 10 separate times to put 10 1/1 counters on the guy. I mean, ideally, you should have won by the time you would be putting 10 1/1 counters on this guy in one turn, but who knows, maybe you have some combo that out of nowhere makes a ton of mana. Aang, Air Nomad. It's a 5/4 legendary creature, a human avatar ally for 3 and 2 plains. Again, I'm not super familiar with the Avatar series because I never really watched it, but this guy looks like one of the main characters from the series. The creature has flying. This creature can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. It has vigilance. Attacking doesn't cause this creature to tap. Other creatures you control have vigilance. So, I mean, 5/4 with flying and vigilance, and it gives your other creatures vigilance. So 4 or 5 mana, that seems fairly strong. I mean, yes, it's legendary, so you could only have one of him on the battlefield on your side, but still pretty good for the mana cost. Katara, Heroic Healer. It's a 2/3 legendary creature, a human warrior ally for 4 in the plains, has lifelink. Damage dealt by this creature also causes you to gain that much life. When Kara enters, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. So, I mean, the base power toughness might be low, it's only a 2/3, but having lifelink and playing 1/1 counters on all your other creatures when this guy enters seems pretty decent for the mana cost. Another random planes in the middle of the deck. Mamo Rebunction Rascal. It's a 1/1 legendary creature, a lemur bat ally for 2 in the plains. Has flying. This creature can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. When Mamo, not Mono, enters, he deals 4 damage to target tapped creature and opponent controls. So, I mean, it's a 1/1 flyer, might not seem super exciting, but it does 4 damage to a tapped creature when he enters, so well, tap creature your opponent controls. It'd be silly to have it do damage to one of your creatures. Aang's defense, and it almost looks like a fireball hitting that guy. It's an instant for planes. Target blocking creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Draw a card. Another planes in the middle of the deck. Soka Wolf Cove's Protector. It's a 3/3 legendary creature, a human warrior ally for 2 in the planes. Has Vigilance. Planes in the middle of the. Oh, actually, this time it was more than one. Looks like 5 planes here. And then we go to Tundra Wall. It's a 0/4 creature, a wall for 1 in the planes. It has Defender. This creature can't attack. I mean, it's interesting that, it's actually a wall because I remember, like, back in early Magic, walls, you know, were, your potentially high toughness but low to no, um, attack power. And that was before Defender, because basically, if you had a wall, it was just like it would say this creature can attack, unless you had a random one that said unless this circumstances met, um, then this can attack. Um, it was just implied all walls are there to block, they're not there to attack. So kind of interesting as Magic, when got older, Defender became a thing. So now there's some creatures that aren't walls, and I feel like there's not as many walls these days. But so kind of like they moved away somewhat from walls and gave some creatures defenders to be like, oh, it's not a wall, but this creature can't attack because it had defender. Wolf Cove Villager. It's a 2/2 creature, a human peasant for a plains. This creature enters tapped. So that was the Aang tutorial. Now we have another one that says do not shuffle. It's the Zuko tutorial. Do not shuffle. And this one's red, where the other tutorial one was um, white. Uh, Depending on, I guess it depends on which side you want to start from, but we have um, Mountain Dragon Moose, which seems odd that you would combine those two kinds of creatures. It's a 3/3 creature, a dragon elk, which seems odd that they would, in the name, they would say moose, but the creature type they would say it would be an elk versus a moose. For 3 in a mountain, it has haste. So a 3/3 with haste for 4. Maybe a little bit underwhelming, but the ability to attack for 3 the turn it comes in, I guess, is decent. Explosive Shot. It's a sorcery for 1 in the mountain. Explosive Shot deals 4 damage to target creature. Uh, 2 random mountains in the middle of the deck. It seems kind of odd that the the tutorial ones have the lands spaced out through, whereas the Jumpstart decks, all the lands are together at the end. I mean, I guess the Jumpstart decks you're shuffling, but the um, tutorial ones say not to shuffle. I guess that's the only difference. Run amok, um, a mock. It's an instant for 1 in a mound. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. It can deal excess combat damage to the player it's attacking. So, this with the um, Dragon Moose guy that was a 3/3, all of a sudden you have a 6/6. A 6/6 with trample, so that would be cool. I mean, yes, this is, like one turn thing that you're pumping, but still. Fire Nation Conquest. It's an enchantment for 2 in a mountain. Creatures you control get +1/+0. Komodo Rhino. It's a 5/2 creature, a lizard rhino for 3 in a mountain. Has trample. This creature can deal excess damage to the player is attacking. Has a low defense of 2, so like yes, you might kill your opponent's creatures if they block and still trample some damage over, but whereas toughness is 2, you're potentially killing your guy to deal the damage. Zuko's Avatar Hunter. It's a 4/5 legendary creature, a human noble for 3 in 2 mounds. Has reach. This creature can block creatures with flying. Whenever you cast a red spell, create a 2/2 red soldier token. So, I mean, decent power and toughness, ability to, block flying, and, you can create tokens when you cast a red spell. That definitely seems strong for the mana cost, or a little bit above what you would expect to get based on them. It's not insane, but it's definitely well worth the mana cost. Zeo, the Seething Flame. It's a 5/5 legendary creature, a human soldier for 4 in a mountain. It has menace. Menace is pretty cool because the creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, and when you have it on, a 5/5 body, yes, your opponent might have some big guys, but you're forcing them to, block your guy with 2 creatures, so then maybe one of your other creatures gets through because, then your opponent maybe doesn't have enough creatures to block 1-to-1 where, 2 or more of their creatures are forced to block this guy. Iroh Firebending Instructor. It's a 2/2 legendary creature, a human noble ally. Iroh, sorry, I was reading the name again. I already read the name. But yeah, legendary creature, human noble ally for 2 and a mountain. Whenever Iroh attacks, attacking creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. So, you swing with everyone, and then because you're attacking with this guy, all your attacking creatures get +1/+1. Seems pretty decent, especially considering some of the other creatures are, you know, decent strength alright, but then get, a buff. Zuko's Offense. It's a sorcery for a mound. Zuko's Offense deals 2 damage to any target. So it kind of reminds me of Shock, but to kind of go with the Avatar theme, they probably named it after someone in the series or something. Fire Nation Soldier. It's a 3/2 creature, a human soldier for 2 in a mound. Has haste. And we have a 3, 4, 5 mounds here. And then Capital Guard. It's a 2/2 creature, a human soldier for 1 in a mound. No abilities or anything, so kind of meh. Warship Scout. It's a 2/1 creature, a human scout for a mound. Again, no keywords or abilities or anything, so kind of just meh. But yeah, that was the Zuko's tutorial, so that's all of the tutorials and the um, jumpstart decks from the Avatar, The Last Airbender beginner's box. So hopefully you found some value in these videos. If you haven't seen the other videos, I will try to post the links to the other videos in the description. Thanks and have a good day.